You know what I'm saying? But, you know, dreams is worth believing in, but whose dream? You know what I'm saying? And that's going to take us into this motherfucking video and things of that nature. But not just that, getting so serious, it's also helping us decipher our own dreams. Because we all have dreams every motherfucking day. Some of us don't. But you know what a dream is about, so you know how to decipher it when your ass have a motherfucking dream. Shout out to Alien Indigo and this motherfucker. Real shit, because every color matter. It's all about, this is the first representation of our soft spot, when we create a motherfucking desire and get lost into it in some way, shape, or form. But here's the motherfucking thing. Keep this in mind throughout this whole video. This is how you got here in the first place. So before you start to think this is pseudo or some shit off the bag or some shit way too far out, this is how your monkey ass got here, and you ain't got a better explanation unless your ass go get lost in some type of Jewish witchcraft and mysticism without thinking it's Jewish witchcraft or mysticism. So keep that in mind also. It'll be their version and their literature if you learning it. If you're going to learn some old shit through your terminology and language that you utilizing now, it's still Jewish witchcraft and mysticism. Shout out to Free Evolution Tarot, this motherfucking soul group. Better believe it. Y'all go subscribe if y'all ain't subscribed yet. So keep that in motherfucking mind. All the soul group talented, you better motherfucking believe it. But yeah, you know what I'm saying? When we starting to get to the energies of all this motherfucking curricular shit, you need to know how we even got here in the first place and got lost into this big pool of water. So keep this in mind. This is how you got here. Now, the water in your sea analogy goes perfectly with this actual video, aka your visions and thoughts. Your visions and your thoughts, aka your inner fire. This plays out like the seed, and how you react and respond to that vision turns that fire into water, and then that water actually plays out as your emotions, your emotional state, and how you feel about things. And that's how you actually water that vision or that intellect or that concept that you derived in your head that start to play out as fire, formulates into a seed. Then when you water it, you can germinate it in some way, shape, or form. So keep that in mind. So the seed is the vision, and the emotions is what grows it, and what grows from it is the fruit that you bear, and and what you manifest as a principle, and this principle and this virtue actually manifests as actual matter via person, place, or thing in your motherfucking life that you have motherfucking created. And this circumstance, situation of virtues and principles that you're in is basically your fruit that you bear. You know what I'm saying? It can play out as a person, place, or thing. But here's the motherfucking thing, because you might have a lot of scientists and things of that nature probably listening to this right now. And they'd be like, hold on, I can't think something into existence. Think about things as a percentage level. You got things that's light in weight. Scientists call it mass. That's the term that they call something that's light in weight. And very light in weight to the point that you can't trap it. Or we can actually come up with terminologies as it being in one existence at one time and disappearing from that point of reference in another time. So something popping in and out of existence, which is all lostness in some way, shape, or form. But it's correlating you to understanding what we're doing as spirits. So when you're talking about something that's light in density of thought or feeling, and then it's not even a big form of teamwork makes the dream work. You're alone with this thought and feeling. That takes millions of years to manifest to a physical representation. But you need to know this is what we're doing. Teamwork makes the dream work. And when we all sharing space, we all going to have a similar thought and feeling. And when we all, teamwork makes the dream work as spirits, give it that spark, it can start to manifest into a realm of reality a lot faster. A chakra a lot faster. A star we live in a lot faster, which stars are water. So when you experience rain, water cycle. That's just a water cycle. So when you see a star in a rotation, you are experiencing a water cycle. So that's in all realms of reality. So don't get lost into NASA and how they get y'all lost into CGI and dumbass shit like the sun bringing heat and light and all that dumbass shit. All that is Jewish mysticism. So now you think something else created light based upon a concept of how you was taught what light get derived from, and all of that is faulty. All of it is wrong. So your religion was made by motherfuckers, their visions. Just like I showed y'all the book page earlier, well, just a few minutes ago. Thank you so much for the donation, Rochelle. Hold on, let me at least get this out. You know what I'm saying? I broke down, I showed y'all the page earlier of how the Masons created the motherfucking y'all Bibles and shit like that. I had a motherfucking point. I threw you off in this motherfucker, but that don't matter. Let me get back to the motherfucking dream shit, so I can't get to the Q&A. But like I said, motherfucker, they broke that how gave y'all the motherfucking page of how they motherfucker wrote the goddamn Bible in the first place. That let you know that it's their visions. Okay, and that's my motherfucking point. It's their visions. So when you have a concept of something, you don't actually worship that concept. You worship the motherfuckers who authored that concept. So I don't give a fuck if you preaching God, the Abrahamic God, in any kind of way, in some way, shape, or form. You might think you worship that because of that. Shout out to Polaris Moon, because of that meaning. But you need to understand, as a Protestant, you're not worshiping that. You're worshiping the people who authored that intellectual property. And the Masons authored the whole Christian theology in this motherfucker. So keep that in mind also. Shout to Fly, let's just God as this motherfucker, believe it. All the way to your concept of Hinduism, Judaism, Buddhism, Islam, and Christianity. Masons created that intellectual property. So people want to separate God, not understanding that man made that concept of God. And here's the thing, right? They made it as a point of understanding each person's personality in some way, shape, or form. Because this is their way of running the world. This is how they construct the world in some way, shape, or form. So you're trying to separate them from the people who created it for its purpose. You know what I'm saying? Let me say that again. You're trying to separate something like a disembodied mind from the people who created that for its purpose in some way. So you see what I'm saying? So it's a book about virtues and principles in some way, shape, or form. And Masons created a whole bunch of virtues and principles for people to live by. That's why all of it always seemed like the same thing, but it's just them creating new covenants, new government, new world orders. So you've been in a new world order the moment that you've been ran up under their system in some way, shape, or form. So that's them as a soul group. But look, check this out, right? This is why atheists will probably watch this or whatever like that and be like, oh, why can I admit a thought, whatever like that. That takes millions and millions of years for one of your thoughts and feelings to be externalized enough for you to see it as an actual star, for you to see it as an actual virtue, for other people to pick up those principles and get possessed by those principles and play those things out in some way, shape, or form. So keep that in mind also. So like I said, once we start to talk about the things that we're creating, aka being in your own mind, or being in your own world. That's basically what a realm of reality is. Your thoughts, your feelings, that fire in some way, shape, or form. So let me go back. Now, keep this in mind. This is how you got here in the first place. So, watering your seed, that's the vision. The vision is the seed. Watering it is your goddamn emotions. And for the most part, when you do that constantly, you start to bear that fruit, and it manifests as the physical matter via person, place, or thing that creates circumstances and situations of that virtue and principle. See what I'm saying? And here's why thoughts and feelings at the purest state takes millions of years to turn into full-blown realms of reality. But until then, you are just creating minor circumstances for yourself, aka being in your own mind, aka being in your own world. And somebody got to snap you out of something. But here's the problem with humanity right now. Y'all are lost in Mason's world. See what I'm saying? So when you start to even debate about God and things of that nature, all of y'all are lost in Mason world, where they're just taking the concept of all possibilities and giving it a title. And since they authored that intellectual property of that title, whenever someone believes in that vision, they actually believe in the person that vision came through. You see what I'm saying? So it's almost like Protestant dumbass arguments about charismatic gifts, where they can sit here and preach all day about how people 2,000 years ago had charismatic gifts, but yet they're the ones saying this. So the moment someone asks them, well, do you got charismatic gifts? How is you telling us this? And then the moment they give their responsibility away, they don't take responsibility and say, no, I'm just here to teach something, but I'm not the one that is. As soon as they even get into that mind state, that's a demon. Like, what the fuck is you even doing? Like, you don't even make no motherfucking sense at that point. You see what I'm saying? So this takes us into interpreting how we manifest illnesses, how we manifest circumstances and situations, how we manifest resistance, and it's all predicated on how we got here, aka our motherfucking dreams. You know what I'm saying? Because your dream was is one of your pieces to remind you how you first became aware. So when you go into fourth, fifth, and sixth dimensional realm, you become aware again Different than you becoming aware here, how you got lost in this dream and made it a reality in some way, shape, or form. Thank you so much for the donation, Phenom. 8 in this motherfucker. You said, Spirit was in space in Texas. I believe it's real shit. You know what I'm saying? That's some real shit in this motherfucker. You better believe everywhere. I just text is everywhere. Just take images and shapes and forms. And all of our spirits can do that. Real shit. Thank you so much for the donation. Millie reviews. You said from one Aries to another. I appreciate that from the bottom of my heart. You better believe it. But yeah, that's how we tap into the dream world also. And that's how we manifest. So things that you are convinced on, mentally and emotionally, this becomes your actual world. And shout out to Fit Goddess, what, this motherfucker. That become your actual world. You see what I'm saying? And then if you believe in someone else's world in some way, shape, or form, guess what? That's the motherfucker realm of reality that we gonna motherfucker live in. So if any motherfucker Protestant is complaining about the world right now, you ain't got no business complaining about the world because you actually worship the Masons. The Masons is your God, and they worship Lucifer, aka virtues and principles. So that's the light. Light is information. So anyone who bears the light is a light bearer. So those who control the light, aka those who control the information, those who came up with y'all language, y'all laws, y'all virtues and principles, these are Luciferians by default, not how they teach y'all so they can be hidden in plain sight so you get lost in Illuminati and the fake masonry and shit like that. No, what it actually means, the motherfuckers who control the virtues and principles, who control the law, the language, these are Luciferians in the very term itself. You see what I'm saying? Not y'all religious dogmatic term of Luciferian. What it mean to be a Luciferian itself? Anytime a person is lost into virtues and principles or a certain morality, that's being a Luciferian. That's being a Lucifer. You are a person who bear light. You know what I'm saying? You're speaking from your dragon tongue. You know, your centaur or your mermaid, feminine or masculine versions of your dragon body. And when you speak of virtue or principle, you even creating your own or you're following. And when you're following a virtue or principle, that leads into all of that is Lucifer. But Lucifer likes to be praised. So Lucifer love y'all to praise virtues and principles. But who is Lucifer? Now, who authored that intellectual property? Who created that word Lucifer and put the meaning behind it? That's the soul group of Lucifer. The group of spirits in human bodies who had that vision to come up with that idea. So that's the Masons. That's who Lucifer is. All of them together play out pieces of the overall puzzle because this is all of their visions. They came up with that. So if that's their ideas, that's who it came through. So when you go learn about something, it's not for you to take it and be like, oh, this is what Lucifer mean. Oh, this the real God. This the real Lucifer. No, you're supposed to go attack the creator of the intellectual property. It was their desires that they was in to have those visions to come up with those ideas. Otherwise, who the fuck wrote it down then? You can never come to no real argument saying that the book, the Bible is really God's word, as if an actual God just breathed it and then it manifested into thin air. No, a person had to sit back and have a vision and write it down. What the fuck is you talking about? Like, at that point, all religious debates is at fault. Thank you so much for the donation, Sarah Jania. It's like, it's lostness. He said, what does it mean when somebody you're in a relationship with ghosts you, but they flirt with you in dreams like child on a playground? Well, the person who ghosts you have nothing to do with your dream. So what it mean is you not letting this person go. That's what that mean. It mean you got to let that person go because your dream is about you. It ain't no such thing as that person saying I'm about to go fuck with this person in their dream. I don't fuck with them when I'm woke, but I'm gonna go fuck with them in their dream. No, this you go to sleep. You went and start thinking and feeling, and just so happens that person in the third dimension was on your mind when you went to the fourth, fifth, and sixth dimensional realm. So you started creating circumstances and situations around them in some way, shape, or form. So that's what that actually means. But a person ghosting you, what that mean is they didn't know what they was getting into, and the moment they start to get involved in with you, they start to realize that wasn't what they actually wanted. So that's what the ghosting part mean. But the dream part is totally on you. You too busy trying to think why they ghost you and things of that nature. And that's leading you to have dreams about them. You know what I'm saying? Real shit. But yeah, they got all this. And didn't I tell y'all? Didn't I motherfucking tell y'all that they was gonna have all this motherfucking